work. Good morning, everyone. It's Monday morning, day after Easter, and just wanted to give thoughts and prayers to the terror attack victims in Sri Lanka. You know, that the suicide bombers that hit the churches, and I think it was 200 something people, close to 200 people or something that died. But it's pretty shocking news. It sounds like we could easily be jaded and things, these kind of when we hear these kind of things. But yeah, it's there's a totally different type of war, and we're us being in the U.S., we're so immune to, and we're so we take our freedoms for granted a lot of times, and don't realize that you can be persecuted just for following God and just having a Bible with you. So this is kind of the first thing that kind of popped into my mind as soon as I started the video. So I'm not trying to really plan anything. A lot of times the self-consciousness takes over, and you're always worried about what other people are going to think of you, and that's just the wrong way to live your life, and it's the wrong way to think. So last night we had a district meeting. I went to a district meeting for our church, and you basically you go to a church member's house, and all the other people from that live in the area are around there, and giving their testimonies and things like that. So for me, it was when it came time for me to get up and give a testimony, I was just basically talking about how I've been going to church my whole life. Since I can remember, as early as 8 or 9 years old, I was an altar boy for an Episcopal church, and everything is in Korean. So whenever they're reading the Bible, everything's in Korean. It's just it's not my first language, so to me it's just gibberish, and just watching the time is just a very boring time, and I don't know what anybody's saying. I can't soak in any of the message, or it's not coming to me. I'm not hearing it, right? So one thing that I realized was when I talked to one of our church members. His name's Matthew. At our church, we call each other, Brother Matthew, brother and sister, so and so. So anyway, Brother Matthew, he's a state trooper. That's his occupation. He's a good guy. We're the same age, and he mentioned to me that one of the toughest types of people to get saved is people that have been in church their whole life. And that sounds very confusing, because you're thinking oh well, you've been around church your whole life, so how can you not be saved, right? And it was only until very, very, very recently that I realized that I really wasn't saved, and it's kind of tough to explain it, but unless you have that assurance, you kind of 100% what's going to happen when you die physically, here. If you're not sure, if you're not aware, then it's definitely time to seek, right? It's time to ask questions, right? And once you get to that point and you look for answers, then God is gonna, I believe that, you know, God is gonna show you a way to get you to that point, because he's always looking for us. He's always searching, right? I mean, I don't know how it was explained to me before, but obviously all of this is all like in the Bible itself. But you know, it's the living word. So, anyways, I don't mean to get off on like a whole like you know, religious. People think it'll be like a religious type of a rant, but it's the truth, you know. And people start realizing the truth, it'll set you free, and that's a promise. And it's you know, seek the truth. You know, that's the bottom line.